Wow. Here we are on another Monday, the beginning of the week. And the beginning of the week, that's Sunday, beginning of the week. Anyway, we're ready to go. We're ready to roll Unscripted Conversations. And I am excited tonight because I have a special guest that's on with us just for a little bit tonight. And as we begin, I want to just welcome each person here. The first person I'm going to ask, let me see, where is she? Leah, there we go. Miss Lady, how are you?
How you doing?
Hey, day by day. How about that? Day by day.
That's real.
When I say day by day. So I'm a little excited tonight because I got Pat on tonight with me.
What's up, Pat?
And
can't hear you.
You muted.
What's up, mentor?
Then we got Mina. Mina's on.
In the presence.
Wow.
Hey,
Armina. Everywhere I turn, I see Armina.
Oh, stop it.
Wow.
Armina's everywhere.
That's a good thing.
It is.
Pause. Okay. That's a really good thing.
It is. I agree. I'm just saying.
I appreciate you seeing me, you know.
It's better than viewing.
Oh, wait now.
Oh, yes.
Indeed.
That's a fact.
Indeed.
Yes.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So true. So true.
So we also have another guest on tonight. I'm going to bring him up. There we go. There we go. I'm going to bring in Jamar.
Look.
Good
He's
evening.
not
Good
joking.
evening.
He's
He's not
camera ready.
You caught me putting my makeup on here.
Oh,
The rosy
Then-
cheeks.
Yeah, I gotta look pretty for the camera.
wow.
What's drinking over there?
One of my favorite,
I-
Saratoga.
oh, I thought that was Ciroc. I was about to say,
Ah,
Oh, no, yeah. That's only for Saturday nights.
oh, wait a
know,
second.
green,
That's
green
that tea.
Uh,
That's
oh.
that tea from
It's that Kung Fu tea, baby.
yes.
Oh.
From where?
Did you get that at the boba spot?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Ew.
it put yin in your yang.
No, mine doesn't have anything in it. It's just straight tea.
Oh, okay.
Do
You
we
got all
do
the
we
little balls at the bottom that you just
Oh, the boba.
Not this time.
No.
Yeah, you can get it with the
That's
jellies. Put the jellies in them too.
I think that's
Nasty.
nasty. I think it's
It's
nasty.
disgusting.
Disgusting.
My boys love that foolishness.
What?
My
I
daughter-
loved it.
They say, "Can I have? Can we go to the boba spot and I want triple boba?" I'm like, "You get triple." Yo, what is it with children and this expensive taste that they have?
Speak on that.
Oh, you gotta let them. You gotta let them spend their own money. Just one good time. So here's what happened 2 weeks ago. My son Austin. We usually go in a 7-Eleven. I'm like, all right, get what you want. Let's hurry up and come back. This time I said, hey man, you got some birthday money. You can spend your own money. Get what you want. He was like, okay, cool. He does the same thing as if I'm paying, grabbing everything. He gets to the counter, and I'm just sitting back watching like this.
Mhm.
Counter, and the guy adds it all up. He's like, I didn't know 7-Eleven was so expensive.
And they don't be paying for nothing.
It's expensive when you paying.
When you
Right.
pay,
That part.
Yeah, when we're paying.
How old is he? How old is he?
He's 15.
Oh yeah. Nico's getting there. Nico's 12. Nico came out of church the other day. I'm feeling Chipotle today.
Oh,
Mm.
feeling.
When you say out of church, you mean like Wednesday night or?
No. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
My fault, man. I didn't mean to be like that guy that's chasing down
Oh,
Claudia.
no,
My
you
bad.
good. You good.
Right.
Oh no, you good. I have no shame. We're going to the spot.
That's it. Right? That's it.
But yo, my man is like, and I'm like most of the time, all jokes aside, most of the time we go home and Faith will, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But today he was like, yeah, I'm feeling Chipotle today. Negro, you got Chipotle money? Yo, Paul and Patrick, we come from the same place, so y'all know. Like, you think you could walk out of church and tell Brother Graham, Daddy, today I'm feeling an oxtail with rice and peas, and
Yeah. I know what he'll say.
you get 2 ox kicks.
A lick.
You're bright.
Yeah. Yo, speaking about tastes in these kids and their tastes of the finer things of life, I just bought my son a car today.
Yo,
I
I
saw
saw
that.
that.
Not just a mediocre car.
No.
We
Nah,
got
it's a mediocre car.
No, it's not.
Audi is not.
Listen, I had to do something crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna get Pat in no trouble, but this guy, he says, yo, listen, why don't you pay with a cashier's check? I was like, all right, cool. I'm getting ready to go to get the cashier's check from the bank. He hits me back. He was like, nah, I want it in cash. I was like, oh, okay. Call Pat. I said, Pat.
Paul, let me pause for a moment, because that's not a regular car. That's an S-type. I could tell by the little red. That's an S-type right there. So don't.
Well, we'll talk about how it was bought. We'll talk about how it was bought.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a lot of power at my man's feet.
I understand.
Let's talk about big baller in the cash. Keep going.
Oh no. Well, I called Pat and I was like, yo, Pat, this cat's talking about he want cash.
I can't see.
I said, can you meet me? Can you meet me for the transaction.
A hit.
I was like, and don't come alone.
Listen, bro. Listen, it's not a big listen. I just happen to be an enthusiast, and I walk with my joint. They walk with theirs, so I walk with mine. There's no shame in my game. I know it's and maybe y'all need to do a show about that. But the confidence that I have with Negroes in my face is different.
No, that's right.
Look at Peary. Look at Peary. Peary's like, okay.
No. I'm serious because there's a lot of people. I know, Paul, what you're saying, but there's a lot of people who have a problem with those who carry. I carry because I for self-defense. That's why I carry. There's no doubt about it. It's not a sport for me. It's for self-defense. And if he had said, you know, I'm taking this money and the car, we'd have had a problem.
Yeah, there would have been a New York problem.
This one is straight Maryland, and I have no problem with it. I don't have no problem with it.
Well, here's the funny thing: is when
you know, Paul, it's strange. I know we talking about something else, but I was carrying, and one of our friends came. I was in the grocery store. I mean, I was at the store, and he came behind me. One of our friends, and he put me in a chokehold. And usually, when we put each other in a chokehold, like we playing, you let go right away. You know what I'm saying? You let go. Listen, 5 seconds is too long. So when he grabbed me at my neck and he was holding me, he was with another dude that I didn't know, and the other dude was smirking like,
nah, man.
So the lady who was across from me was kind of like, oh, what's going on here? So you know, I just kind of just like, you know, like what?
Quick draw.
Quick draw.
McGraw.
Sorry, you had to pull out on somebody?
Yeah. It's a friend, yo. I would have shot him. There's no doubt about it. I would have shot him.
My fingers are itchy. Don't.
Yeah, it was just way too long. I don't mind a 2-second hold and turn around and pat. Hey. And then if he's watching, which he might be, my man was like, yo, I thought you was from Brooklyn. His boy had to tell him, I think he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't mad at you.
Nah,
wow.
Hey, I got Natalie carrying now.
Yeah, Nina's always on my hip.
I got you.
She stay on my hip.
Got you.
I can't.
It's good to know these things. Good to know these things.
Why can't you?
I can't, man.
The early teachings of the church.
Mercy.
Wow. You know, this is why I can't stand you, Leah. You know, you are just so. You bring it up, Leah.
Let me tell you
something.
This week I've been spending a lot of time in the book of Joshua.
Joshua,
and if Joshua lived in this day and time, he would definitely be a licensed carrier.
Licensed? He may not even be licensed.
I don't even know if he might even need a license. Because my man was like, what God, you said what? Put him to the sword?
Yeah. All time.
You said what? Load up the clip?
All times.
Listen, why couldn't David build the temple? Why couldn't David build the temple? Because he was a carrier for too long.
Dig that.
Wow. See, I don't want that associated with the temple. You took out too many heads, bro. So
you and your boys is
gonna let your son build it.
Well, listen, I remember that he couldn't be a part of that.
Right. God said, nah, man, you put too many heads in bed, bro. Let your son do it.
Right. Listen, I got 2 deacons in my church. They know.
Yeah.
If anything happens,
they running up in churches now. They not just
of
gonna
course.
run up in mine, period.
Of course. Listen, I'd rather, if you want to go back to mental health, I was sick about 10 minutes after he did that. My stomach was sick.
Yeah.
It was mad sick because I knew
Flashbacks.
Yeah, it's like if I had to do it, I know that I would have to live for the rest of my life knowing that I took out this cat, even if it was a real crime in session.
Right.
You know, you have it for one reason. There's no other reason. You can't scare cats. You got to do it. So, I mean, I've prayed about it. I've prayed about, I've prayed about whether I should get rid of it. But if I put a baseball bat next to my bed, it's the same thing.
That's my thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay. I never thought of it like that.
I never thought of it like that.
I don't never want to go nowhere with faith in my children. And something
can't
pop off.
Yep.
And I know that I could have done something and I didn't do nothing. I would have to walk around with that same, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't play.
Like I would pray for old boy's decision-making abilities. Whoever grabbed you. Like, Lord, I pray that he doesn't do that again.
Yeah, you should learn how to do that, man. We're in a different world, man. Different environment. Different environment. But Pat, you felt sick? You felt like what? What did you feel like? Up. I was sick. I was, matter of fact, I was sick for almost 2 hours. I mean, when I say sick, I'm talking about like dizzy sick because
like on the possibility of what could have happened.
Yeah.
It's like a mild panic attack based off of what the traumatic event you just experienced. That was a traumatic event because you're thinking about your safety and the safety of somebody else that you probably got to take out to protect yourself. Like all kinds of things are flashing through your head in this moment. You know what I mean? So putting somebody in a 5-second chokehold, like, come on, man.
It was a long chokehold. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It was long. If I came up behind you in Target, it was like, yo, give me your money. Let me go right away. So I can turn around and be like, oh, what's up, P? You know, whatever.
So you don't got to feel District Heights. Right. Right.
Leo, what were you saying, Leo? Go ahead, Leo. What you say?
No, I was just talking about through, the lens of trauma.
Red lips. Red lips. I'm sorry.
Listen here. Stay focused, right?
I'm staying focused.
There's that lack of focus and concentration. That happens a lot. But when you're looking at trauma, the reality is there is a fear or traumatic response or reaction that happens in real time, right? And it doesn't always happen because you have had a cognizant thought about what is about to occur.
Sure.
Your body just knows that, hey, this is an unsafe situation. And then things start happening, right? You start trying to figure out real fast, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Your stomach was in a space where, the blood flow leaves our digestive tract and it goes into our large muscles because either you have to fight somebody,
fight or flight,
or you have to take off and run, right? When people in movies and they didn't peed on themselves or something of that nature, right? In a scary scenario, it's because the blood flow no longer is dealing with the digestive tract. I
wish we have panic attacks before relationships.
Well, some of us do.
Sometimes we do.
Terry talk about it all the time, just overlooking the red flag.
That's it.
That's the biggest thing. People overlook how they feel, what they're feeling.
Yep.
Because their goal is something else. Whether it's safety, whether it's I need somebody to be with me at night. I don't want to be alone. So I'm gonna overlook that last jab he threw at me. He didn't hurt that bad.
Right. Ooh.
Or they just want, like my guy told me in class. Terry, you probably know what I'm saying. I teach a domestic violence class, and oh boy, he's 68 years old, talking about, it started out, it was just about the booty. I said, oh, the booty got your butt in a whole heap of trouble.
A lot of mess. Wow. Terry, it's good to see you, man. It's always good to see you, brother.
Hey, it's good to see you all too. I felt like we haven't seen each other in a week.
Okay, try to be okay. I'll explain that later. It's shots fired. I'll explain that later. But I bought my son this car, and I called Pat and I was like, "Come and don't come by yourself." And that's the first time I could ever say, because Pat know I don't play, right? Pat come around with me, I'll be like, "Yo, I don't want that around me." Don't. But man, I'm talking about a certain amount of loot. This guy switched it up on me at the last minute, but the car that Pat came around in was his. What do you have? A Tahoe, Denali? What do you have? What do we?
Yukon.
Was it you? Came around the corner, can't even see through the front, can't see through the sides, can't do anything. And I said to my man, "Hey, how you getting home? Right? I want to know how you getting home if I'm selling you this car. You understand where I'm coming from?" He was like, "Oh, my brother's coming for me." I said, "Well, mine just pulled up." Just,
wow.
Straight. I want to know how you getting. If you don't got no way of getting home, I think your way of getting home was All right, that's all I got to say. So in light of all of that, man, I think that, and I'm going to share this as we go into mental health, especially for men. My I wanted my son to have a car that he could drive back and forth. And I said to him, I'm willing, I put it out there, I'm willing to put 4,500 on it. I'm willing to put 4,500 on it. Went and looked at cars, saw a Jetta stick, he liked it. Saw so-and-so, he liked it. Then he saw this car, it was for 10.5. And I was like, I'm not giving you 10.5. I'm not giving you, you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it. The man comes down off of it. I'm just saying, the man comes off of it $1,000. My son says, hey, Dad, I got 1,000. Okay, so now we at 7,500. I mean, whatever.
85.
We're at 75, right? We're at 75.
85.
All right. 85. And then I said, I'm gonna put another 1,000 on it. Okay. And I said to him, let me tell you something, bro. You're gonna have to pay for the other 37 because I'm only putting in what I said I was gonna put in before. Man, I didn't even know he had money stashed. You know what I mean? I didn't know he had so he had. Wow. But this is what got me. I started checking out cars that year, that so-and-so, whatever, and it was high. 15,000, so-and-so thousand, 18,000 for a 10-year-old car. I said, come on. So what kind of car is this? So I went and I drove and I brought it back and I said, listen, bro, I'm going to teach you some responsibility with this car. And, so it wasn't an expensive car, but it's an expensive car. It wasn't expensive for me, but it was an expensive car. And I'm going to share this with y'all. Part of me felt like, am I spoiling him? Part of it felt like, I wish I had that when you know what I'm saying? Part of it was, I want him to look good. I want to teach him responsibility. I don't know, but I hate feeling like I did something that I shouldn't have done by people on the outside. You know what I mean? I don't feel that way. Like people have not called me and said to me, yo, what are you doing?
My dude, let me just say something.
Yeah.
If you bought him a piece of junk, people will complain. If you bought him a fiery red Corvette, people will complain. If you bought him a mediocre kind of kick him up, kill him, people will complain. It ain't about anybody else. It's all about what you wanted to get. If you want to have your own regrets, you're going to have your own regrets. You have your own this, that, and the other. But the day that you start thinking about what somebody else feels, and I'm not putting you on the spot like that, Paul, because I know how it is when, I bought my 3 kids cars. And because it's in my name, if they miss a payment, I got to pay for it to make sure that things are all right. Do I got some regrets with that? Yes, I have regrets with that, but ain't nobody out there giving me the money to give them to pay for, right? Even if it was my mistake or not. So really, truly, it doesn't even matter what anybody else think. You did it. Stick with that and get off the gram. We have this people think sins are just women and all that type of stuff. That's not, we have this problem with approval addiction.
Yeah.
And don't worry about what anybody else thinks. It doesn't even matter. So take that approval addiction stuff and just throw it out the window.
So gentlemen, let me say this. I know you're with us, Leah, and what's her name is in the back, Mina's in the back. But my question is, do you think that a lot of men deal with a lot of I would say fallback or pushback, and maybe that's why we are the way we are? And can we talk a little bit about why we are the way we are? Just throwing it out there, because just now when I just mentioned that, and Pat just said that to me, and Pee Wee, you said that to me, I gotta be the kind of guy that says I did what I did and I do what I do. You understand where I'm coming from? But there's a lot of times we as men, we feel inferior, or we feel like we shouldn't have, or we feel like we put ourselves in a box. Do you think that we're harder on ourselves? I'm going to go with Pee Wee. Pee Wee, do you think we're harder on ourselves as men, and it causes a lot of mental distress for us? Your thoughts, and then I want to hear from you, Terry.
Absolutely. When we look at the world that we live in now, especially now with social media being as big as it is, everything that we do really depends on optics.
Yeah.
How am I looking? Who's looking at me? What are they thinking about me? And I'm gonna give you an example. Facebook, for example. Let's say you make a post about something. Any one of you make a post about something, and it doesn't get but maybe 3 likes, right? We equate the likes to love and acceptance, appreciation, all of that. And if it didn't get enough of that, I've seen people go, "Oh, I'm gonna take that down. It didn't get enough likes, love."
Grown people, by the way, not just teens.
Grown people, men and women, are doing this, and they're basing everything on a like. They're basing their value on a like, and we do this in real life as men. And I had a client today. This person was talking about her illness, and when she was saying she got tired of talking about her illness and sharing it because she wasn't having a good day, she was like, I just started to be quiet because I didn't want people to feel bad for me, and I didn't want to have to keep sharing it. I felt bad because I'm not myself anymore. And I said, well, that's not what Jesus did. I said, when Jesus was struggling and depressed and burdened down, he went to his boys and said, hey man, look, I'm not good. Can somebody stay up with me and pray with me? Just stay up.
Yeah.
I'm not doing well. Jesus said that. Our perfect example said, I'm not well. So when we as men talk about, oh, I'm gonna keep my stuff in, I'm gonna keep it to myself, I'm not gonna tell anybody about my problems, my insecurities, my fears, you're not even following what Jesus did. Is Jesus weak for going to his boys and saying, yo, man, I need help. I need somebody to stay up with me. I'm not used to this human stuff. You know where I came from? I put on this for y'all. So, Joe, help me out. How you deal with this? Stay up and pray with me. But they couldn't even do it.
Yeah, I got you. Terry, what's your thoughts, man? Good word.
So let me say this, 2 things. Okay. Number 1, I don't do anything based on what other people gonna think, say, or whatever. I do what I want to do.
I got you.
Somebody may say, dang, like the guys in my class always say, dang, Dr. Parks, you got stock in polo? Do you want to know why I wear polo all the time? Here's the secret. Because when I was super big, he was the only one that made classic clothes that I could fit in.
Wow.
I wasn't going to wear the hip hop LRG and all. I wasn't going to wear all of that kind of stuff. And so he was the only one that was making big and tall.
I'm glad you didn't get that cross color. Go ahead.
I wasn't going back there. Some of y'all did that. Some of y'all did that Oakwood. But let me just say that.
They did Oak Tree.
Right. I remember Oak Tree. I was rocking Oak Tree. But the thing is, that's the reason why. I don't live where I live based on, what people gonna think. I don't shop for other people. I don't. I like people good. I'm doing this because I want to do it. Okay. I remember, what was it, last year? I had actually been waiting for the new Hummer to come out because I drive one now. Okay. And I said, okay, let me look at it. Not only
GMC is making them now, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to sell it to China. They tried to sell it to China during, COVID, and China didn't want it. But Leah can appreciate this. For the most part, when I was growing up, everybody worked at the plant.
That's right.
Usually the Ford, GM, Chrysler, Pontiac Motors, Fisher Body. It's so many plants there. And so the thing was, I always wanted the Hummer. So I was on my way from the barbershop. I'm like, oh, shoot, they got one. So I went in there, took some pictures of it. I said, so I'm thinking about a thing. And I posted that. You want to know what kind of financial advice I got? I didn't ask anybody about anything. And I started to say, I've never asked anybody for a dime. I ain't never put a GoFundMe account up when I had 3-4 funerals within a year. I ain't asked nobody for a dime. If I'm not asking you for money, you see what I'm saying? How are you giving me all this financial? If I had somebody who put up 5 points can you afford it? You know, you just need to talk to your financial advisor. And if you can't buy that cash, you don't need to do it. Who said I couldn't? Okay.
Right.
Who said I couldn't? Have you done this? And I just went down the list, said, check, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I was like, oh, look at that. I checked all the boxes. I guess I can get it. I didn't ask for advice. I said, I'm thinking about a thing because they had just hit. Here's the thing. I think we are groomed horribly. Okay. Woo. We are groomed horribly. Now, every guy on here know what I'm talking about. Is this an adult show?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but if you're talking about grooming, easy.
Grooming. Hold on. All right. Everybody got that uncle or their boy. Yo, man, that's how you get the hose, man. Let me tell you how to. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have the shoes. You got to have the gear. You got to have all of that to get the female. You see what I'm saying? And so we're groomed to dress good, get this cologne, get that. And so now we become the peacock. So we're out on the yard. And here it is like this. But then when we put on certain clothes and we put on that cologne, ooh, look at the tail feathers pop out. Now you walking around the yard. Yo, when they see me, they going to say, it even gets done in what? In hip hop, in our songs. We put it out there. And so if you ain't got, you ain't wearing this, you ain't in. And so that becomes our reality. Girls get groomed. Yeah, girl, you got to wear your hair like this. You got to have on the new Cazals. You got to have this on, that on. You got to wear that. And so we are that culture that lives and breathes, doing it for the masses. When we do it for the masses, we fail.
Yep. Well, I got you, Pat. If I ask
Terry,
you this question.
You said that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying when he said that, I heard. Oh, when you said what you said, I heard in my ear. I turned like doorknobs, heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Gucci down to my side. Rings and wax fills. That as soon as you said it, I was like, "Yo, it's funny. It's in every dynamic. If you come from the inner city, it's in every dynamic as a male that you operate.
Every cutie with a booty, what a coochie. Now who's a real?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just want to be clear, Pat, before I go your way for a second, Pat. The way that Quest is drinking that, whatever, the way he's holding the bottle, it's thank you. I just want to know that there's some.
No diddy.
Just for y'all who are questioning whether isn't Quest an elder? Yes, I am an elder, right? I'm not your average elder, but I'm an elder nonetheless. This is Saratoga sparkling water, in case you want to know. And
it's just that's what the bottle says.
That's what the bottle says. Because the way you holding it, some things you can't get out of a person. You can't get out of a person. They still hold it the same way, even if it's water. They still hold it the same way.
So, Pat, let me ask you this question, right? Why do you think so many men are quiet about how they feel? And Mina, I'm going to come to you on that one also. But Pat, why do you?
That's all Leah though. But I'm gonna tell you this: there's no shame in my game. I'm like my whole. If it's up to Jesus and I'm living where I need to live, I only got like 15 or so years left, right? So, and I'm not saying that as a damper or a depressed mode or whatever the case may be. Paul, this Sabbath coming, we be 55, right?
Yeah.
And I look back at my life and I ask myself how many times I've made decisions based on somebody else, and it's just a loss altogether. When I decided to come out, and I always use those words, come out. When I decided to come out about mental health or my mental health, it wasn't recently. I mean, I've been talking about mental health since 2014, 2015. What happens is that men stay quiet because we label each other. So if you say something and you can use it against somebody, they find the perfect opportunity to use it against you. So if like right now, and I have no shame in my game, right now when elections had come around, Everybody was like, yo, he's crazy. He's depressed. He has anxiety. He can't lead a church. He can't do this, that, and the other. And that is some of the reasons why I turn around and say, let me show you what I can do based on where you are. And I'm not saying I'm showing out to do that. I'm showing that there are people who are functional, men who are functional, who go through mental situations, who can still survive this thing. Right. The reason why they stay quiet is because we are afraid of the labels that come along with it. So if I get up now and I say, hey, I'm bipolar, all of a sudden someone is they're going to label you as bipolar. You could be a millionaire, you're bipolar. You can do anything with your children. You could be the best educated, but you're bipolar. You know, it reminds me of that story with the little girl. 7 times you dip down 7 times. What's his name?
Naaman the leper.
Naaman the leper. You know, Naaman was this, that, and this, that, but he was a leper. Men, we get that. So
yeah, we feel that leper. We feel that leper mindset. We feel that leper mindset that we could be a great pastor, you could be a great leader, you could be a great businessman, you could be, but
yeah. And men, it's difficult for men to recover from that. I'm not going to say it's much more difficult, but you ask that question. If you say, for example, I'm going to use Quest as an example. Has a great marriage, as we can see. I don't live in his house with him. Great looking kids. I don't know if they do facials. I don't know none of that stuff, right? but what I do know is he was married before. Are you getting where I'm coming from? He was married before. So what ends up happening is that he becomes a Jacob, that he still walks with a limp to somebody who feels that he shouldn't have that he was divorced. See, men, we're afraid of walking with that limp, so we don't say anything about it. So I just think that when it comes to men and mental health and things that we are thinking, sometimes you say what you have to say. I want to fix something real quick with P. Listen, I put up stuff on Facebook. Anytime I put something up on Facebook, somebody DMs me. Somebody says something like, he's putting his whole, why you got to put your life on Facebook? I'm not putting my life on Facebook. I'm putting on Facebook what I want you to know.
But here's the funny thing, P. I think sometimes when people respond, it's because you hit a nerve within them that what you doing that may not, you know what I'm saying, be okay in how they live in life too. They just scared to say something about what they live in. So now I got to say it directly to you. Yeah, that sounds like a personal thing. You know what I'm saying?
And it is.
If I post what I post, that's hey.
Yeah. And I'm learning to unfriend people. You know what I'm saying? I say what I want to say. So if I say something about Donald Trump and this dude jumps on and he's talking all this mess, I don't care how great he sings. I'm going to unfriend you. It's the bottom line. Don't take over.
Sorry.
Just be honest. Don't take over my Facebook because you need something to ride on or you need something to fly on. So really, do I have an attitude? I protect my peace now at all times.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Armina.
Can I speak to that real quick?
Oh yes, and then Armina, go ahead.
Because if y'all haven't read the book by Dr. Darius Daniels called Relationship Intelligence, I think it is one of the most magnificent layouts, right? Because to your point, P, where you say, yo, I might just unfriend you or whatever. Truth be told, sometimes some people shouldn't be friends anyway. And the way that my man lays it out is that we throw around the word friend too loosely.
It's true.
Right? So friends are people that'll push you towards your purpose, that don't judge you.
Sure.
That love you even in your challenging moments or your moments that, like, regardless, those are your friends. Then you have people who are associates, advisors, or assignments. And when I sat down and talked with my therapist about it, she was like, or nothing at all. And that's okay too.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I post something, if you have
if you're going to put a response to it on social media for everybody else to see where you putting me on Front Street for my thoughts or my feelings, that's a clear indication of somebody who probably don't need to be in my life at this season of my life, either until you grow, and if you don't have to be nothing to me at all.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think one of the things that we have to do as men too is define and put people in their proper places as far as those categories are concerned, because a lot of the times where somebody is an associate or an assignment and you put them in the friend position, you put expectations on them to be a particular thing, and then when they don't meet your expectations, you frustrated, you bent out of shape, you all of these different things.
Sure.
And then now I got to blame me because my problem was I put you in the friend position when you should have been just that, an associate. Just because I share time and space with you don't mean I got to do life with you.
Wow.
Mina, please go ahead, please.
Mina, come easy, okay? Because we're friends, so come easy. And by the time, and by that, I'm saying Armina just blew up like in the past 6 months or so. She used to call, we used to text each other, how you doing, and things. But as soon as she blew up, she don't know nobody no more. But that's okay. I'm protecting my peace.
Quest, can you tell us those categories of people again? Friend,
associate, advisor, or assignment.
Assignment,
or nothing at all,
So since Pat, you want to call me out, you were an assignment in my life at one point in time.
My God.
Like, no.
Armina can do that.
Wow.
Move around.
That's right, Leah. That's right.
Yes, Pee-wee, yes. So, okay, this is a conversation from our last conversation.
Okay.
So when you're talking about men being hard on themselves, as I'm listening to the men speak, I don't get that they are that way. At least what I'm hearing doesn't mean that they don't feel it. And it may be something that they fight through to sort of break the odds. Because if you think about it, for so long, men have been sort of conditioned, right, to like not feel. We've all heard the saying, man up. We've heard, don't cry like a girl, or be strong. And what that does is it sends the message that emotional expression makes them less masculine, right? Wow. So men decide, or at some point they learn to internalize or to suppress, which then leads to a disconnect from their feelings, not because they don't have them, but because they've been conditioned to believe it's not safe to express them. And what's the cost of silence? It's high, right?
Woo.
We see it, especially in the higher suicide rates amongst men, substance abuse as a coping strategy, and even relationships that break down because they don't know how to express what they're going through or what they're experiencing on the inside. So I think men do feel deep, but many, haven't been given, maybe it's the language, maybe it's the tools, or even the safe space to process those emotions. So this conversation, it matters because it gives normacy to like, look, we acknowledge that this is what we might be feeling, but we don't have to suffer in silence. We don't have to kind of just put on this mask that says, I'm strong. Yeah, I got it. I'm good. Sup, No, meanwhile, you are crashing inside.
Yep, man.
The other thing I'll say, and then I'll just sort of turn it back over, is that we've learned that vulnerability equals weakness, but it actually is courage. It is not weakness. So.
But I'm sorry, man. You got me writing. I'm sorry, I'm writing. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is
courage.
Wow, I like that. You said something just now that was really deep. You said, what's the cost of silence? What's the cost of silence? Pee-wee, I'm on you with that, and then I'm going to go to Leah. What's the cost of silence?
Whew, man, you bring that one to me. The cost of silence doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody around you. For men that are in leadership positions, who are husbands and fathers, mentors, it's very difficult to do any of those roles if you are suffering in silence. Silence speaks volumes. Okay. if I am silent about how I feel, it's going to say something in another way. It's going to manifest itself in another way. I'm going to take y'all back to this cartoon. I love this cartoon. You've probably all seen it. It's the one about the little girl who had the voices in her head. You remember what I'm talking about? Oh, come on. It's what is it called? It's called
Inside Out? No.
Inside Out.
Oh,
Inside Out. Wow.
Inside Out.
That thing made me cry.
Man. I'm talking about the first one that came out.
The first one, yes.
An example of how silence can destroy you because people don't know.
Right.
And there were four voices in her head, or parts of her emotions in her head. It was joy, it was happiness, it was sadness and anger. Right? Now Joy's responsibility was to keep her happy. And the little girl was about to move away from all her friends. And whenever sadness tried to show her feelings, Joy would push her away, say, no, we want to keep her happy. So the little girl is suffering. She doesn't want to move. She doesn't know how to tell her parents. And she's just acting happy all the time. Once Joy discovered that this little girl needs to express her sadness, that's when her world changed. You know, then her parents started to see, oh my goodness, she's actually sad. We've been thinking she's been okay this whole time. And I equate that to what happens to a male lion once he's no longer in the pride. Who knows what happens to an old male lion? Have you thought about that?
Like vanished.
Yeah. What happens to them? The old male lion who's used to being the head of the pride, taking care of everybody, defending everybody, once he gets old, he has to get removed. The two young lions come in and they say, get out of here, Pop, you're taking over. What happened to the old male lion? No one knows. But you know what? Most of the time they get eaten. Because now they're by themselves. No one's thinking about the old male lion because he's associated with strength and power and protection. And once he's gone, no one's thinking about him. How many National Geographic shows have you watched where they watched the old male lion that was kicked out of the pride? They're not paying attention to him. He's not strong no more. He doesn't have strength anymore. But that lion still got feelings, man. That lion still has a lot of stuff going on in him, but we don't care about that because he's associated with strength and power and protection. So when you raising a young boy who you're telling, don't cry, don't show your feelings, don't show your emotions, he's going to keep all that built up inside of him. And next thing you know, he's taking all of his aggression out on women, on crime, on drugs, and alcohol, because nobody told him, hey, man, it's okay. Come here, bro. Let me hug you.
Right.
As therapists, and all the therapists are sitting on this call, it is a different feeling when a grown man is crying in front of you.
Yes.
And you know why? And I say that because of my own messed up recognition of this. Why is that? Why do I feel different when a man is crying in front of me versus a woman? I shouldn't feel any different. I should see it the same way.
Yo, but you know what?
A grown man,
what you're saying though is, at least for me in that space, the amount of courage it took for him to even shed that tear. So that for me is why I see it differently. You know, but as a man who grew up hearing these kind of things, who had to go to the basketball court, get knocked down, you better not shed it till you better get back up and keep playing, boy. No, don't do that. So when I see a grown man crying in front of me, 50, 60, 40 years old, shedding tears, telling me, man, I ain't never felt like this before. And I'm sitting here like, wow, why does this feel different to me?
I think it does because
Come on, Detroit. Fight it out. Fight it out at the bridge. Fight it out at the bridge. I want to see it.
And when I say different, I don't mean I'm putting them down. I mean, I know it took a lot of this man to shed tears in front of me, who he does not know.
And see, for me, I don't take it through that lens, right? Whenever a man cries in front of me, I love it. I love it. Why? Because it doesn't happen very often.
Right. And that's saying I appreciate it. Appreciate it. But there's a part of my manhood that comes out and goes, he crying. And
but
I gotta
Right, but that's you coming into the picture, right?
Right,
That's you
right.
showing up in that moment as
that's my non-therapeutic side. That's my hood side. I'm like, no, man, shut up. Let the brother cry. Let the brother
But you
cry.
know why that is, though? Do you know why that is? It's because we are conditioned as young boys. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as young boys, we tease each other. Man, you crying like a little girl. You acting like a girl. You doing this. And so, man, that dude's soft, man. He crying. Man. And so when somebody comes to you, you don't know how to really take it because you're like, wait a minute, dude, what's this? You know, the non-therapeutic side of you. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like you ain't supposed to be crying. You know, what is it? What remember in what was it? Godfather.
Yeah.
When the guy came to you know, Don Corleone, and he's like, you know, I just don't. I just want. He tried to be famous in Vegas. What are you crying for? Be a man, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how we are taught. And so when we go out in the world, when we go out in the world, our mindset is we got to be tough 24/7, 365. And when we come home, we're looking for that softness from our partners, and we want to be able to lay our head in their lap and her to say, baby, it's going to be all right. I got you, whatever. Sometimes we don't get that because it's not welcoming when we come home. So we may stop by the bar. We may stop by the gym. We may stop by somebody else's house. If you know
I was just about to say.
That's right.
Because sometimes Terry, the bar or the gym don't do it. Sometimes you need somebody actually
and
physical. And while I don't want to, be doing that,
somebody else because she gets me, she understands me, and it's like I go home, and you know, it's like the thing that and I had said this before. I saw it with Kurt Franklin and, you know, DC Young Fly and everybody at the table. You feel like a ghost in your own house. It's like, man, ain't nobody, all this look, you know, like Fred Sanford, I built this empire, you know, and it's like, you're looking for that affirmation and you don't get it. And so we become utility. You see what I'm saying? And so we start thinking, I have to provide, I have to provide, I have to provide, I have to provide. Do we? Do we really? Is that what was that the original plan for man? Was it the original plan for man to provide?
No.
Or was provision already there?
Yeah.
All we had to do was manage it.
I want to pause for a second because I want to pay attention to what's going on in the room just for a moment. Our brother in here, his name is Sean Charles, but I want to start with David Brock, who made mention that I need help. Yeah. Makes mention that he needs help. I just saw that just come up, and you know, guys, this is what we've been talking about for some time. Anybody needs help? Well, you know, we can help provide some way, somehow. So he makes a comment. I'm dealing with moderate depressive disorder. He says I need help. We want to make sure that you can DM me, text me from the Facebook, and we'll definitely look to make sure that you get the help that you need.
He's out Leah's way.
Okay, got you. Then Sean Charles makes a comment here. I mean, I'm just saying, right? I'm definitely going through a depression, especially through this whole divorce situation I'm in. Come on, Terry. Come on, Quest. Come on now, right? I mean, come on, Pee Wee. Come on, hey, come on, Leah. I mean, we just want you to know that you don't got to go through this thing by yourself, because he also makes the comment here that says, come on, man, I'm sorry, brother. So I keep it inside. Nobody wants to hear it, so I keep it inside. I just want to make sure that you have that opportunity of.
Can I stop that and try to help him? Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I hear individuals say no one wants to hear it, we call that a cognitive distortion when we operate in the black and the white, or the all or nothing thinking. Yep. When I hear the word no one,
that means nobody.
That's nobody on the face of this earth, right? And sometimes we feed these messages and they're believable. In that moment, you do feel just that helpless and hopeless. But I want to encourage you that there is someone on earth that will.
We're talking about Jesus right now. We're talking about Jesus right now.
Jesus. I'm talking about a physical person that you can really hear and talk to, that would be willing to sit with you just to listen and hold your pain, right? Therapists, this is what we're here for. We hold pain. We walk journeys with individuals, right? And so I don't want you to walk away today thinking that there's absolutely no one on this earth that will hear from you, because there are people that will.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for that.
Hold on, let me just back up real quick, and I'll jump off of it real quick.
Yeah.
Or it might be the people you want to hear you
are not.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So once again, Pete, this goes back to what's KRS's old song? We could kick a flow, I think, and something. All I really needed was a friend. Like, I had an experience very recently, right? So Faith and I are in the season where we are really just getting our house in order. From a finances perspective, legacy perspective, like generational wealth, we went and got our business trust, our family trust, and our living trust, right? And we place all of our business and all of our family stuff in those trusts. When we sat down to do this stuff, the guarantor, right, started asking us some questions like, who do you want to be the beneficiary? And we were like, your mom and my mom work very well together. If anything should happen to us in our untimely demise, then let's have them, God forbid, then let's have them be the executors of the trust, right? But then he asked, who's the secondary beneficiaries? And we sat there for a moment like, who do we trust on that level?
Wow.
To carry out, if anything should happen to us and our parents die, like, who do we trust? And now we were forced to have some conversations. And I'm saying all of that to say that a lot of us are running through life and you think you got friends, but really what you have is an associate or you have an assignment. And you're calling them friend. Sometimes you even have an advisor that you're calling friend. You don't have a friend, somebody that you trust with your life.
Wow.
Because here's the funny thing. Sometimes you got family members that you don't even trust like that.
It's true.
So now when it comes time for you to share something with somebody who means something to you, who don't judge you for feeling the way that you do, that you can be totally yourself. Now you got, I just hold it inside. Why? I hold it inside because there's nobody that I trust enough on a friend level to share it with. And I'm saying that some of us really need to examine or evaluate our relationships, because I think Pee Wee said it best. Christ is our ultimate example. And he had the 12, he had the 70, he had the 3, Peter, James, and John, and he had the others. He did life with Peter, James, and John, but he didn't do life with the rest of the disciples.
Got you. Let's pause for a moment. Let's pause for a moment. Pee Wee got to run. Pee Wee, I want to thank you for just spending some, some time with us. And I know you're busy and you got to run. Even Pat said he was going to run before, but we got another half an hour. But I want to thank you.
Me out of bed, yo. I keep telling Paul I go to bed at 9.
Oh man.
Thank you for having me. I just want to say one quick thing to the gentleman and surrounding divorce. Divorce can be very manipulative because it will have you thinking that you are the only person to ever go through a divorce. You are the only person that is experiencing this kind of pain ever, and you're just so awful. And how can you come to this? You're a godly person. How could this happen to you? You're a failure. It can have all those things going on. But I want to tell you right now that is a lie. Divorce sometimes can be a blessing. I would not hear this part very carefully. I would not be married to my wife right now if I hadn't divorced her in 2011. I'm going to say that again. I would not be with my wife right now if I hadn't divorced her in 2011.
Jesus.
That is a real word, because we had to go through something And of course, it felt like all eyes were on us at that time.
It
felt
was.
like everybody, and this is something that Paul Graham said to me. He was like, "Look, man, sometimes people are gonna come to you and ask you how you doing just so they can know, not because they really care." And that stuck with me. You probably don't even remember saying that to me. That stuck with me. Okay. And I was like, "Wow, he's right. There are people who just want to know what's going on. Oh, you're not together? Oh, wow. Like, wait, what? I thought these are godly people talking here. No, talk to the people. Talk to the people. And thank you. Talk to the people who care about you. It's not going to be a big group. It's going to be a small group. It's going to be a couple of people who can understand your pain. It's going to be one or two people who can be there with you to stay up with you at night and cry with you. Those are the people that you lean on. And please know this: you are not a bad person because you go through divorce. You are not cast out from God's kingdom because you go through a divorce. Please believe that.
You probably make it to the kingdom quicker.
And before you go ahead, Terry, before you go ahead, Quest, somebody just wanted to know what's the name of that book. They text me, they want to know the name of that book, and then I'm going to hear from you, Terry. And then Pat, I got a question for you. Go ahead.
Get ready to go to sleep.
Quest, they want to know what the I'm sorry, Quest, they want to know.
I'm bound my
intelligence.
All right, take care, Pee Wee. Take it easy. Thank you again.
It's called Relationship Intelligence. It's written by Dr. Darius Daniels. Yeah, he's a pastor as well. If you know about my man, he's official.
Mm-hmm.
Got you, Terry. Please.
So something Pee Wee was saying, and I realized this even before my divorce. I realized this. Church folks are nosy.
Wow. Wow.
And what you find is nobody really wants to help, but they all want to know what's going on.
But is it just church folk too?
Well, no. Okay, so and I'm
gonna get no. Okay, so
I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But most people inside and outside the church, are you all right? You doing okay? They don't really want to know if you're all right and you okay. They want you to share the story. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because they know once you start asking as therapists the probing questions. You know what I'm saying? What happens? You start spilling your guts. And girl, so did he cheat? Did you cheat? You start asking questions like that. So they're really not there to help. And so it was something Quest was saying, earlier, those three characteristics, but there was something that somebody shared with me. Actually, it was from TD Jakes. You see what I'm saying? And TD Jakes said you either got a confidant, a constituent, or a comrade. You see what I'm saying? And so
y'all dropping these.
Well, the confidant, like I keep saying confident. The confidant. Your confidant. That's someone who is for you regardless. They are in your corner, no matter what. That's my confidant. Then you have the constituent, somebody who is what you are for, okay, but they'll leave you if they find out somebody else can help them. And then you have the comrade, somebody who is against what you're against. They're not for you, but they're just against what you're against. Comrades in this. We gotta, it's like the mafia. We got a mutual enemy. You know what I'm saying? That type thing. And so what you find is you find those type of people who are walking amongst us. You got a confidant, you got a constituent, you got a comrade.
I like that. You listen, man, that is the reason why that's wonderful, because when I hear some of these things, and as a man and listening to some of these things, I got to ask myself the question, who's in my circle? Who do I allow in my circle? Or who do I see, who is really in my circle? I'll say this, Leah, one time you and I were talking about something, and it was about Lonnie's friends. I'm just saying, it was about Lonnie's friends. We were on here. We was talking about Lonnie's friends. And it is like, there are some friends that Lonnie would have that you have identified as like, yo, that ain't your friend. I think we know what we're talking about. That's not your friend. And I think that when we have not just a spouse, but a good friend, a male friend that can also say to another male friend, be careful of that dude right there. You understand where I'm coming from? Be careful of that fella right there. I don't. I sometimes hear Pat would say to me about certain people, like certain pastors that I feel like I'm good with. Pat would say certain things like, I don't get down with him. I don't get down with him. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, yo, P, what's wrong? If he can do this to this person, then he can do it to me. There's something that I heard the other day, Pat. I want to hear your thoughts on this. There's a guy that made a comment the other day. I don't remember who his name is, but I saw him on social media, and he said, I don't do business with a man who cheats on his wife.
Oh, yes, I saw that too.
Okay, then before I ask Pat, well, I'm just asking, before I ask Pat, what's your thoughts on that, Mina, before I ask Pat on his mindset about that?
I mean, the whole theme was because if he can cheat on his wife, someone that is the closest to him, then what makes me someone that he's going to be loyal to? And so at first I had to listen to it a couple of times. I was like, okay, that's a different spin, but I saw where he was coming from.
Okay. But you know,
Can I add to that just real quick?
Yeah, and then go ahead, Pat.
I think we're assuming that when people marry, that's the closest person to them because they said I do.
Correct. Jesus.
That's not always the case, right? And so I think when we present that as, what should be, it doesn't lend space for the reality where people start to see that this really ain't the closest person to me. Right.
But Leah, you trust this person enough to lay in bed with him every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what
There's
the
a lot of
relationship
people
is
laying
like.
in bed with one eye open.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's crazy.
But Leah,
That's
I
crazy.
think when we I get what you're saying, but when I hear that though, I think of it as we reduce the institute of marriage to, okay, so maybe this is not my person, maybe this is not my first person, my closest. And there are many circumstances, right, that we may never ever know about. But the way that I think marriage was intended to is not the way that we use it for today.
No, and I agree. Like there is an institution, right, that God created, right? But we also have to remember that we are born in what? Sin and shaping in what? Iniquity. So when we have these conversations, I always want to make certain that we are honoring the reality that some individuals live in.
Okay.
But
So
I think
there is a difference though with honoring that reality and normalizing that reality. And I just want to make sure that we don't normalize it just because it is other people's reality.
I guess for me, what I'm doing is I'm having an open conversation, right? Because as much as we would love for everything to be very tidy, and I think that's kind of what we get from the church too, is that everything has to present as tidy, and everything isn't tidy, right? You all were just simply talking about the whole man up thing. That's a front.
Decent and in order. So let me say this. I think that I think
Wait, Terry, I'm sorry. Can I just respond before you say that?
Wait. Hold on, Terry. Let her respond and then come back, Terry. Let her respond to that and then come back.
So I think it's part of our role to help people that are willing and want the help to figure this out, right? Like if you're not happy in that space, if you're sleeping with one eye open, well, let's figure out what you need to do so you feel safe in the space. Because
I agree with that wholeheartedly, Mina. I guess we didn't get to solutions. I just wanted to put it out there that there is a reality that there are individuals living in spaces that doesn't look right the part of marriage. And when we don't have those types of conversations, then where do I fit at in this, right?
Right. And I get it. Yes.
Solutions wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Right. But yes, I do think that to acknowledge it, I just don't want to ever feel as though I'm normalizing it but then again, like the Institute of Marriage is only for us believers, right? There are people who get married. There are people who watch our show that are not believers and have a whole different idea of what marriage looks like. You know, and it
but
works
even
for
as
them.
believers, even as somebody said, we are toe up from the flow up. Even as believers, and I think this is the issue with the church. This is just me. Is that we front a lot like everything is together, and it is not. Our marriages are a mess. We
It's
walk
not
in
just
church.
the church, is it, Leah?
It ain't just the church, no, because it's some other individuals. But I guess I'm centering it on the church because Mina was saying that there are individuals who are not believers that listen. And I want to bring it back that believers also are struggling in their marriage. They're struggling to be seen. They're struggling to have trust built within. Like Terry said, they out creeping. They trying to find salve somewhere else.
Right.
So
There is hope at the end of that. Like, yes, we acknowledge that there's some of us that are watching right now and commenting right now that maybe some of us in this frame right now that have an issue in our marriages. But again, I'm going to use the word that me and Terry used earlier. We are conditioned to be a certain way. I mean, someone asked the question, who can you really go and talk to? If I was to finish the sentence or question and say, if you are struggling with your marriage, if you are in a sexless marriage, who can you go talk to without feeling someone's going to judge you based on what you're doing?
A prostitute. You can go to a prostitute and you could pay them, and they'll keep your secret if you come back the next week.
Very much so.
I'm not even trying to be.
It's real.
I'm dead up. Right?
You can do that with a therapist too.
So I like solutions, right? Because I think sometimes
they take insurance.
I think we spin the record around and around without offering the solution. Yes, that is a solution, and some of us therapists are that you just described, Pat. Some of us are the pimps, like, yes, because at the end of the session you're gonna have to pay up. We're gonna keep it a secret. We're gonna work with you for X amount of time, but. So, I just wanted to say that, Terry. I'm sorry, I'll let you go, but I just wanted to make sure we saw both sides of it.
It was good.
I got you. And I hate the both of y'all because I'm up with Leah. Then I'm like, oh, okay, Mina. Wait, and then I'm back up with Leah. Oh, yeah, Mina. Okay,
so
that's why
I gotta come in and bring the balance, right? I gotta bring the hood side to what's really going down over here, right? With some folk that just don't have it all nice and neat.
I got you. Remember, family, we got less than 15 minutes left. Come on, Terry, let's hit it.
Oh, you are neither hot nor cold, sir.
Man, he called
you out of my mouth.
He called warm water that's room temperature. So let me say this, man. Even though it might not be the closest person to you, the idea is that's still the commitment. You see what I'm saying? It's still the commitment, and the commitment is if you're going to do this. If you're going to do this, then how can I trust you? How can I trust you? If this is the person who you profess, see, I think we start changing words. You profess, because even in the interview, he said, supposed. You see what I'm saying? He said, supposed. So that right there kind of like, this person's supposed to take it out and say, this is the person that you trust. This person trusts you. Then how can I? If you would do this to this person who trusts you, then how can I? I get it. I mean, you can, you do with it what you will. Because there are some people who are family, like blood, brother, sister, that you don't trust. And you would trust somebody outside of your family before you would trust somebody inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Inside. And this is the reason why I was saying, Terry, like, for real, some of us need to, as the word said, let every man examine himself. Who am I and what do I need? What type of individual am I and how do I make my decisions? Because once again, when we start having these conversations and we start going through stuff, who do you go to? All right. If you're the one who's encouraged, I always say it, who encourages the encourager when the encourager needs encouraging? Right? How do I pick my friends? Who is a part of my one thing that, if I could say one thing that E's wife Dee Dee taught me, she taught me the term sacred circle. Do you even have a sacred circle? And who are the people in your sacred circle? And everybody don't just stroll into your sacred circle. We would have had to go through some stuff, and I would have had to have time to evaluate you as an individual to see if you are somebody who can even be put in the friend category of my life. Because you going through stuff, I'm going through stuff. And when I need somebody, I want you to be there. And when you need somebody, you best believe I'm going to be there. We would have had to go through some stuff together. And a lot of us, truth be told, we live in an associate lifestyle with a whole bunch of people and then calling them friends. And we can tell the difference because when the hit the fan in life, you can't really depend on something. And you know, because when you talk your stuff, some way, somehow it get to 2 or 3 other people. Oh, come on. The only person I discussed that with was you. How they find out?
Or sometimes sometimes you find yourself in a sermon.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing too, it's a catch-22 because either it get out or it's shared with somebody or you keep it on the inside. And you know what pressure do when it build up in a pipe, it busts.
Well, and that's why most of us suffer in silence, because we don't have that. We have the lived experience of talking to people, and it somehow makes its way outside of that conversation. Yep. So our lived experiences teaches us, man, don't trust nobody. Keep it to yourself, keep it all surface. Like Pat said, he shares what he wants people to share. So he can't bear it all because there's too much, the price is too high.
It's too high.
It's too high. But here's the thing though. I don't, and I'm going to say this. Do we really suffer in silence? Because what's really going on comes out in other behaviors. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people are like, damn, what's wrong with him? Why are you tripping? So is it silence? Because it's coming out in other behaviors. Man, every time I talk to them, they always on 10. Man, why they always cry? Why is it? It's coming out, but it's coming out inappropriately. And so we're not sharing it because we know from past experiences, especially if you are a man. Don't no man share his feelings. Don't no man talk about nothing, man. You got to be strong. You can't be over here talking this foolishness. Man, you sound weak. Hey, keep that in. And so we really be holding, stuff in, and then it comes out and like we hitting somebody. We fight somebody. I had to get that out. We may be abusive in our relationships. We may yell. We may be, the emotional abuse comes out. The male privilege comes out. I'm going with this, Leah. The coercion and threats and the minimizing, denying, and the blame and all of this stuff. Economic abuse, all of this stuff starts to come out because we holding this stuff in and we trying to control it and we can't, and we don't know who to talk to because when we talked to somebody before, it got used against us, especially if it was your partner.
There was 6 minutes. Go ahead. And then we're gonna close it up. Go ahead.
There was a saying or a phrase that was catchy. Things catch on and then they drop off, right? So when it was hot, it was hot. And it was asking people, what happened to you versus what's wrong with you. And I think if we can just start saying, man, what happened to you? It gives some kind of compassion, empathy, kind of like, I may not know the whole story, but what I'm seeing says that's, again, Terry, like not suffering in silence, right? What I'm seeing is that you have gone through some stuff that is coming out in ways that you probably never would have wanted it to. Yep. So can you just share with me, like, what happened to you? And sometimes that becomes.
But that's a society. That's something we got to teach, Armina. You got to teach people that because everybody ain't a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Right, and that's what you're doing right now is putting it out there so people can hear it, and that's what we need to hear how do we relate to each other? How do we look at, you know what I'm saying? How do we discuss? Go ahead.
When I talked earlier, I mentioned that we are not given the language. So that's the language, right? We're not given that kind of language because the first thing like, yo, what's wrong with you? You know, we'll say that. But another way of reframing the what's wrong with you is what happened to you.
Yep.
Right. I got it.
Changes.
I got it. So we're gonna go around the clock. We're gonna go around the clock and land the plane. We're gonna start with someone who's not really with us because I don't. No,
man. Don't even play. I'm just listening, man.
No. You don't belong here on Mondays. All right. So we're starting with this.
You're supposed to call me, Pat.
What is wrong with him?
Okay.
That's what you said when I was in Maryland. Or was it Baltimore? I don't know where we were. Somewhere on the East Coast.
As long as we were okay.
I like this. What's wrong is more confrontation. Okay, we're gonna go around the horn. We're gonna close off on this. Pat, the question is for everybody, but we're gonna start with you. What advice would you give to an individual, more likely a man, but an individual who is closed in and does not want to talk to anyone?
Me, right?
What can you give them? They don't want to talk
right.
to nobody.
I mean, let me tell you, I've been in a situation where I've isolated myself. It is a dangerous place to be. When you isolate yourself, you don't get larger, you get smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean, there's no way to really. So I can say may not be the same situation as divorce or whichever, like that gentleman, if he's still on, that was like, I have nobody to talk to. There are people out there you could talk to. I was just upset that the circle who I thought I could talk to, I couldn't talk to. That is where it is. You can't talk to them. And so you can't go out there and find someone new to talk to. I have to be honest with you to say that, and I'm telling you, it's going to sound really super spiritual over the top, but it's not. It wasn't a church thing. I had to go back to my first love and try to figure out, hey, Jesus, what just happened here? Can I talk to you for a second? And I could never wear his ears out. Never, right? And now I know it sounds super big or whatever, but even for those who are not Christians, you can make something bigger than what it is. You could make a thing bigger. You could make I know I'm gonna get crucified for this, but you can make an idol that you can talk to. It's not going to talk back, but I'm saying whatever you do, don't isolate yourself. Isolation is terrible. It's like one of the worst. It's almost like your eyes are open, but you're still blind. You can't see anything. You can't hear anything.
Wow.
It's a terrible place to be. So for me, get help. There's no shame in going to a therapist. You don't like that one, go to another one. You don't like that one, go to another one. You don't like that one, go to another one. Keep going to somebody who's at least going to sit down and listen to you, because that's where it is.
P,
I'm big on therapy, and that's the truth. I'm big on it.
P, let me say this real quick too, because I want us to be very careful. The question that you asked is, what advice do you give to someone who don't want to talk to nobody and who don't, like, for real, you're going to bump your head, period. And then you're not going to find out that you want to talk to somebody after you bump your head. Either that or let's stop playing basehead games. There ain't no in between. You either want help or you don't want help. And if you don't want help, just keep doing what you're doing until.
Wait, let me push back. Hold on one second. Let me push back. Right? Let me push back, because you're right, but let me push back. Sometimes we don't know how to get that help. All right. You're talking about somebody here who had at that time have a master's degree, working on a doctorate, the whole nine, and found yourself in isolation for things that you would say can't be you. I can't believe that happened to you. right? You find yourself in an isolated situation. The truth is that you can't swim out of doo-doo until you've what I'm saying, the doo-doo smells good, it feels good, it's warm. You know, when you're crapped on, it's warm if you were cold. So the only thing I'm pushing back on is you can't find help because you don't know how to find help. And the majority of people who are around you, that's why these shows are good. Because if you can get to one person on this show who's not laughing or who's not carrying on and says, yo, you know what? I'm going to make a call. I'm going to call the number. Some of them don't even have the first direction of how to get there.
So let me ask this, because this is important and we might need to do a part 2. I don't want to stretch this out, right?
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Did anybody see you in the condition that you were in and say, Pat, come holler at me for a minute. Let me holler at you. What's going on, Black? Like, it's some stuff going on, and I know this ain't you. Like, what can I assist? Let me at least make some phone calls to some people who might. Did anybody do that to you or for you?
Sure. And I couldn't hear them.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear.
Because,
if you look back,
that's the reason why. And that's the reason why I'm saying, like, if I can't hear you, either I'm gonna slide deeper into this thing and bump my head till I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I done gone too far. Something got to change.
I'm gonna throw something at you, and we can talk about this after. We can talk about this after.
No. I'm not saying that it is.
No, if I did not take meds, I would not be able to hear.
Yep.
Gotcha. I'm throwing.
So let me say what got you to the point where you made a decision to say, you know what, it's time for me to take these meds.
When I looked up on my bed head and I said, I'm going to go get the belt.
Yep, rock bottom.
That's it.
Rock bottom.
I looked up at my bed head and I said, yo, I'm going to get this belt.
I'm saying it because there's a combination of two things. Number one, when I'm going here, who can I call? Who is a friend that I can call? I'm not good. Like every day I'm in tears. Something ain't right. I need help.
My best friend is Keith. My best friend is Keith Goodman.
Yep.
He's far away. He's not up the block.
Yep.
He's my best friend. He's up the block. If I had called him and said, yo, I don't know what I'm going to do, he would have been in his car and he would have come down. He would have come from Ohio and be right here. Do you understand what I'm saying? The point is that I did not want to talk to him because of the shame. Yeah. Because I'm always the strong one, or I seem like the strong one in the group. What is it going to look like if Pat had turned around and said A, B, and C? So when you look at the Ellen DeGeneres DJ, when you look at the one who made us laugh, Robin Williams, when you look at the best chef or the best chef story that you see going on, you know, we look good we look good on TV, right? We look good on Facebook. Nobody puts up Facebook that I failed or that I didn't do well on something. Everybody put the hype stuff on Facebook while somebody is suffering in the background. Yo, you got to talk to somebody. Bottom line, you got to talk to somebody. Don't isolate.
We need a part 2. We need a part 2.
I think in the part 2 is how to access help, right? Like, where do you start? What does it look like? What do you say? You know, because you can call and be like, hello. But what
I think it's first to come to the conclusion that you do need help before you access it. Like, you need to decide.
It's hard, man. Quest is hard.
Yeah, you ain't never lied.
It's hard.
I think for me, I don't know if I've ever really gotten to that depth of depression. I've been depressed before. I just don't think I've gotten to that depth. And I want so much out of life that when I'm not feeling like me, boo, I need help. That's why I didn't ask when I got to a place earlier on this year where I was just like, yeah, something ain't right this year. I'm not wasting no time. Get what's the name on the phone? Start up my sessions again.
Right.
A lot of us are not even there, though.
Not even close there.
But that's where Quest got me. That's where Quest got me.
Yeah.
And that's why. And this is one of the things that we'll get back to the table and talk about. I'm talking about us. That's where Quest got me. Somebody said to me,
what? All right, Chris, I ain't gonna say what is wrong with you, or what have you. And I think it takes somebody who cares to say, hey, you know what's going on, because I'm the closest I feel to Patrick bloodline. I didn't get it until his wife came to me and was like, do you understand what's going on? I had to be like, I didn't get it because I didn't get it.
But Paul, you said the right word. Someone who cares.
Yep.
What if there is no one around you that you have identified, right? So a lot of this is the self-talk, right? Remember I talked about the distorted talk. It is the continued rehearsing. It is the core belief of yourself. Like there's a lot of different nuances that come into play that keep individuals in a space where they feel hopeless and they feel helpless, right? And one thing that Pat said, and I appreciate you sharing, Pat. One thing you said is that doo-doo is warm.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we are in our stuff, it can over time start to become so familiar that it is desired. It is comfortable, right? It is what you actually desire and crave. So we
what you know.
talk about that is familiar, right?
It's for
And
what
so
you know.
people become addicted to negative emotions, or right? It happens. So, again, like if we're talking about part 2, there's so much that kind of goes into that, along with the solutions or the possible things, tangible things that people can take away to help them.
Can I say something about doo-doo?
Yeah, please, and then we'll close off because we ain't gonna do it the way we usually finish because we need a part 2 on this bad boy. So go ahead.
Just to piggyback on this, and this is how I describe it in my domestic violence classes. It's like when you wanted a pet and your parent didn't want to get it for you because they knew that they were gonna have to take care of it. You weren't gonna take care of it, whatever. But you wear them down.
Yeah.
Wear them down, and so they get it. So let's say it's a dog. Every time you come out, the dog just in the house watching you go outside and play. You know what I'm saying? And he's just sitting in the house. And the dog is starting to poop and everything in the house. And so you come in and you see it and you be like, "Ooh, let me go back out. I don't want to see it because I don't want to pick it up." Eventually, what happens? That dog keeps pooping and pooping, and it gets larger and larger. And now you are in a situation where you are what? It's stinking to high heaven. You brushing up against it. You step in it, and then you doing whatever. And so now, only then, if somebody said, "Is somebody gonna pick this up? Can we get?" So that's where it's like, I think what Quest was talking about. You see it, you smell it. Somebody needs to get in and pick this up. Yeah. So to me, I would say, you know what? Are you okay? I've been noticing something about you. You're not the same, is something going on? Is there something you want to talk about? Can you, because I'm noticing and I hear, there's rattling in the trees, in the bushes. And I just wanted to check in with you because I'm hearing some things and I want to make sure you're okay.
Man, I'm sorry. You said it, Terry. I told Paul and I told my wife this. When I start having too much hair on the side here, it's an indicator. If my hair starting to grow around here, it's an indicator.
Hello, Pat, what you told me the other day.
It was growing.
Because personal care starts to go out the window.
That's it.
I'm not taking care of myself because I don't even care about myself. Right now.
That's it.
And that's so we have to be able to notice, like you said, nobody noticed, well, because we're not close, but when all of these people started to commit suicide, you're like, yo, I just talked to them last week. Did they start selling some of their belongings? Did they start participating in things that they weren't participating in? Did they start talking about, death and dying a lot? But hey, wait a minute, hold on. What you talking about? Because I had a guy today in therapy, and I'll say this real quick. He was adopted when he was a kid, 11 months old, into this thing. okay, La Casa Nostra, this thing of ours, this Adventist thing, okay, and he got adopted into it, and he didn't understand. We argue before we go to church, and then we go to church and put on this front as though everything is perfect. And I'm sitting here listening to him, and he doesn't know my background, but he's mentioning a certain school. I won't mention the name, but it's in the South. Okay, that he went to, and
Southern. Go ahead.
He stayed for a little bit more.
My guy, Pat, my boy.
a little bit more Southern. Okay,
Voila.
And so what he did was he went to that school, and he only stayed for like a couple weeks.
Right.
He was so depressed, and he was hell bent on what? Trying to punish the parents for what they did. And I said, so tell me, how's that working for you? Because you got this DUI charge right now. You going to jail. You got all this other kind. What happens if you got to do time in jail?
You can't blame your parents then.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he didn't want to. He wanted to stop coming to therapy. And I said, well, we can end it right now. I said, however, and I started talking about some things, and he began to talk more and more and more. And, it's like, yeah, I think you probably need to talk with your parents if you want to end this. I don't think it's wise. But the point is I know he's hurting. And I said, and when are you going to stop making your parents pay for what they
pay for it?
I said, they cannot help the template they were given. And he talks about the abuse and everything. And I said, if we think about this, let's do this real quickly. If we go back, he said his parents the dad was 70 something and mom was in her 50s. So that means that dad was born before what? The civil rights movement. So when you look at his dad, which would be his grandfather, he's closer to what? Probably 1920s. And then if you look at his great granddad, now we are what? Just out of what? Slavery.
Right.
So the abuse and the beating and all of that kind of stuff, they're right out of that, and it comes from that. And I said, this is what we call disorganized attachment. Disorganized when the person who's supposed to be your safe haven is now viewed as a threat because they are either scared or doing scary things in the relationship.
Well, listen, family.
He was like,
we need a part two.
All right.
And my daughter came and gave me my food and said we're supposed to be eating upstairs together. But I want to thank you. That's her words to me. I want to thank everybody for
coming on. Those Worthington wings.
It's Worthington wings. Oh boy, Paul got me up on this thing, and I don't worry. You go to sleep.
Call me, Pat. Call me.
Not tonight, but I will.
I have a question.
Not tonight, but you better call me.
I will.
I do have a question for the panelists before we go. Can we just do a quick check-in? This was a very heavy type of conversation tonight. It wasn't our usually hee ha ha, but can we just check in? Maybe just one word, just, where are you right now? How do you feel right now? You can use one word or sentence, not a paragraph nor a book. If you feel you need that though, you have our numbers, reach out, right? We're usually up after this. It's not for the people that's watching. I'm talking to my brothers and my sisters right here.
I'm not paying Armina anything. You're not getting enough. You're not getting no dime. You're not take me off of your couch. You know what? I'm tired.
That too, right?
Yeah.
Because it may have been thoughts that individuals, right, in the chat was also experiencing as well.
Sure.
So it'd be nice to have them to one
tired.
word in.
Tired. And I won't even lie to y'all. Y'all already know. This is like my 50-something revision on my dissertation. I'm tired. I feel like telling this individual, you could keep the PhD. I'm tired, man. I'm just super tired. I got my test coming up on Thursday.
On, Pat.
I
want to welcome you into the fold, man.
I'm taking this test, but it's okay.
Let me tell you
Somebody said Patrick and Mia need to rectify their differences.
When does it have to be in, Patrick?
No. This is dissertation. This is
you defended now.
You keep getting sent back.
You keep getting sent back.
Yeah.
Pete, let me tell you something. It's gonna be good. And if it gets sent back, it's because God wanted sent back for a particular reason.
Oh, you put God in it. I was about to say I'm ready to drink right after it's done.
No. Handle your handling. Yeah. And by this time next year, I'll be calling you Dr. You know what I'm saying, Graham. You know what I'm learning in this season? I'm learning not to stress over what I can't control.
I feel like I'm on the couch with all y'all here. All right.
It's Patrick. It's terrible, man. It's terrible.
Yo, I'm not. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you how I'm living life out right now.
Yep,
like,
I got you. I can't.
Just tired. If I allow this stuff, I'll be broke. Like, not with money, but emotionally and spiritually broke if I allow some of this stuff to get to me, man.
I got you. Yeah. And I'm not pushing you to the side. Armina asked the question.
I know.
Armina, just tired. Just tired. I mean, not tired of anybody, not tired of anything, just tired.
You added a lot of value to our show tonight, and I truly appreciate
Armina, stop it. Stop doing that to me. Take me off of your couch. You can call me later. Take me off of your couch. I don't want to be on your couch.
Too many therapists.
Too many therapists.
Turn it on me.
We'll have part 2
are there
next
too
week.
many therapists, or are there too many issues?
Both.
Wow.
Both.
See, y'all opening up cans
Or
again.
is it a lot of different points of view, which is
We
why
want to thank everyone for coming on tonight.
multiple therapists concurrently. One may take you down one path and another may take you another way.
Yeah,
so
you need to come back to DC and hang out, bring your family, and your family used to hang out with my family, and we used to go places and whatever. But you just got too big for me. That's all. It's okay. It's all right.
Listen, I'm never too big for you.
You prayed to God for what you wanted. You got what you wanted, and you just leave the associates to the side. That's all. It's okay.
Mercy. You were an assignment, Pat. You were an assignment.
I've been silently watching you in the background, though. Let me just say, I see you.
Family, for those who are watching on, share this with someone. We're so glad that you are with us. And always, our biggest thing is have the conversations. Be blessed, everyone. Be blessed.
Peace.